So let's just try loading a few levels. Alright, it looks like it's working. Alright, so let's double check that the levels that override the spawn locations work properly still. This would be one of them. We don't have any goals in this one? Right, because we don't have any goals in this sublevel. So what needs to happen is in that mission we actually need to load in, what's that, mission 8 or whatever? So let's see, precise shoot and distance shoot are supposed to load in the multiplayer sublevel. So is SL Tower 01, isn't it? Because it uses that goal at the end for you to actually do it. It's just the collection missions that don't have goals in them. Alright, let's go in and try to fix that first load of the game. So it's in server initialized match. We do set loading stage. Because we're going to go in here, start in stage. It's going to be pre-mission. Or it's going to be loading stage. So we'll set loading stage, which should set up for the stage, which we should reset stage data, destroy all the balls, and reset our player data. So when we do this, and we go into our single player mission, such as this guy, we actually do call net reset players. It should have reset him to the right spot, but I guess the sub-level wasn't loaded in. So we do this again. That's when it dumps us over here. So what we need to do is, if we need to check this level operation pending. Is level loading. So if level load operation is pending, loading is true, so it's going to be inside of our level update here for this guy. So it's going to be inside of update loading stage. So is level loading currently, has reached next state, time, local skip triggered, in stage for mission. It's true. If we level loaded currently, server set pre-stage, skip pre-stage screen. Alright, so it's going to be basically when we get to here. Because the loading screen shouldn't disappear until we're ready to go. So it's still loading sub-levels right here. So we're going to go to server, setup for stage, which is going to set up our stage options. Stage needs reset is false. That's not true. We need to set this to true inside of our update loading stage. When would we do this? Basically, it would be if if we go to server set loading, so if this guy is false, mission is set to loading stage, we need to set stage needs reset to true here. So it's like, alright, cool, so we what is this loading stage time actually going to do? Update loading for stage, if in stage, yeah, it's not going to do anything, so it's not a problem. Aha, there we go. We actually loaded in to our proper location. And we've got our multiplayer levels loaded. Excellent. That's what we wanted to see. So one of the things that I could actually maybe fix here is that building up momentum against the wall thing. But I think we've got all of our sublevels set up, so that's fixed. That works. They're all switched over. So mission export has got that. Sublevels are easier to deal with in the editor now. They don't load properly. So that's kind of the next thing. What we want is temp workaround for missions 3. Yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about that. Actually, I can go ahead and post that on the forums. Alright, so we'll grab the game data. So I want the missions. It's solo 3-1 and solo 3-3. Right, solo 3-3. The mob, yeah. Alright. So 3-1, 3-3, and team 3-1 and 3-3. Alright, so let's upload a thing. Post thread. Alright, so the missions.zip is attached to the post on the forums. Alright, what's the next thing I had? Sublevels and missions easier to deal with in the editor. That was the wrong place to drop down, Spider. You should know that. Alright, so where are we setting up for stage and everything like that? It's... Alright, so if get current mission is not valid, get game options. Alright, so if we're in the editor, it's not valid, then alright, so if editor mission is this, set start in stage to false. So we need to call set current mission with the actual asset. And set current stage index. Yeah, okay. So this should update our UI. So if we go into like grasslands and we pick the right missions, now it know nothing no more. It's true. But did it know anything to begin with? Apparently not. Alright, so we go to arena level and we go to our missions, MMS training 2, use mission and editor. If we hit play, quick as a wink, start, bam. Okay, that is excellent. That's going to make this a hell of a lot easier to deal with. So we can actually just jump in and play the level without a whole bunch of crap. Alright, so we can exit that. Alright, so that's all there. So, sublevels and missions. So let's take a stab at the wall momentum issues. So the issue is when you're up against the wall and you're holding into the wall that we build momentum and then we eventually die. So how does that function currently? So basically if you're holding the dash button and you're holding into a wall, it's basically when you're holding a direction into the wall, it's building speed even if you're not moving, and eventually you will die. So let me see, it's inside of movement, base. I'm gonna have to boot some of this up. The movement code is a bit complex, as we all well know. So to go noodling around in there is not the easiest thing to mess with. There's a few things that are kind of fucked up right now. Like if you run into the wall and you fall and hit the ground, your character does a little hop when he comes back up. Like, I don't think many people have actually noticed that. But you like jump and hit the wall and then you fall off and then your character like gets up and then he does a jump. Yeah, it's not supposed to happen. Alright, so basically movement distance was 1.6. So what did we do? If we set the current velocity is y, so negative, so movement direction, movement in direction. So the idea would be that we don't want to increase our velocity if we weren't able to move? Is that what we're doing? So if we step through here, sim is going to be 0.008. Alright, so I think we need to add to our movement object like a saved velocity. So we want like an m last velocity is going to be m velocity. Okay, so we have our last velocity set. So what condition are we actually going to be doing this on? I think it's when we're doing an attempted mantle, I believe. And it fails to mantle. Then what's going to happen is if we can't mantle, yeah, we basically want to say like reduce velocity here is really what we're supposed to be calling, and reducing velocity isn't happening. But really it's just the mantle code. The traverse seam stuff should be fine. We still ran up a slope and all that crap. So it should be this current velocity is last velocity, and last velocity and direction is going to be, current velocity and direction is going to be our last velocity and direction. So it's reducing velocity is, we're not doing anything with that. So let's see, if we run into a wall and we have immunity, it's not going to kill our velocity, which is what we want. But is our velocity going to decrease? It's not going to decrease, is it? So what we want to do is we want to actually not increase the velocity and direction in the direction of motion, such as we always want to go down in velocity. So basically what we want to do is if fmath, the absolute value of last direction velocity is greater than the current absolute value, then we want to reduce this value. So we always tend towards the 0. So we don't let you accelerate into the wall, but we do let you slow down, and we do let you accelerate away from the wall. So if you're holding into the wall, it won't let you kind of charge up speed. It'll only let you slow down, which is what we want. So that should be fine. Is this going to let us fall? Like, is this going to screw up our falling stuff? Well, we'll see. Because it looks like I tried to implement the velocity reduction stuff, but it didn't. It had like a hard stop, and it was screwing stuff up. So instead of doing a hard stop, we should just tend towards nothing. What I could do is basically take the current velocity and subtract from it. The problem is we don't really want to do that. We want to tend towards 0. So don't let you accelerate, but let you maintain. So you could theoretically keep a charge while you're against the wall of a specific velocity while you're sliding down it or something. I don't know. There's a lot of strange things with the movement code which you can do, which are on purpose, such as charging your momentum. So if you like run into the wall and you bounce back, you can go faster. And if you're holding into the wall currently and then you jump off of the wall, you'll actually jump farther than you would because you can kind of charge your momentum even though you're not actually moving. And a lot of players don't actually know that's happening, but their brain expects it to happen the way it is. You're like, I'm holding this one, and I hit the other button, and your character kind of appears to. All right, so our movement's not broken, and I'm not running into the wall and dying. But I am getting stuck in the wall. Did we just deploy to the test environment? Doesn't look like it. Alright, so the question is, what is going on here? What the hell? The current breakpoint will not be hit. This is different code? Well, it's not slowing down, which doesn't make any sense. Because we're using the absolute value. Maybe I didn't save it right. Well, jumping away while dashing is fine. It's more of if you're holding into the wall and then you jump from the wall, you can jump faster. So it's like you're sliding down the wall and holding into the wall, and then as long as you don't right now charge up so much momentum that your character kills themselves against the wall, even though they're not moving, you're actually building up momentum, and you can use that to jump away at super speed. So if you aren't holding dash and then you hold dash and jump away, you'll actually charge up all of the normal running speed for you to jump away from the wall with, so you'll jump even faster. So if you were like sliding down a wall and holding into the wall, and for instance, then trying to do a long jump, you could do that right now. And I'm kind of removing that. So it would let you build up momentum as you came into the wall, but it wouldn't let you build up momentum on the wall. It would slowly reduce that, I guess. Or it wouldn't let you. It would let you charge your momentum against the wall, and hold on to it while you slid down, so you could like go in at the right speed, and then you could get a little faster boost. So I don't think anybody, only like speedrunners that know exactly what the hell and break down everything with movement would know. How is that? Oh, yeah, okay, that's why. I'm not letting you slow down. I had the wrong thing. Actually, no. If current velocity is greater than... Alright, set current... Yeah, okay, so I did have the opposite in there. I need to get Jenkins started on my other machine. Yeah, that Windows update came in and took down the build server because it's Windows. Yeah, the dash jumping is pretty difficult to get right. That's timing is definitely difficult for it. I'm probably going to look into. I've got it on my plate for the abilities pass to update the. I might need to do that this update though. But wall jumping at dashing speeds needs to be a lot easier than it is now. Right now it seems real finicky if you get it or not. Like I'll hit it and it seems like because I'm moving so fast that I need to lead it a bit more, so there's a few things there where I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it definitely needs to there needs to be some better rules around that motion. Alright, let's see where this thing is reporting the collision. We're not calling report collision at all. That's not true. Like we're calling report collision. This is gonna be lying to me. Is what's going on. Okay, so I think it's in the air when we're actually sliding down is what's going on with this. Um, so we can't land. Apply wall friction to our new velocity, and we'll report the collision for our object. So what do we do for in the air? We new velocity. All right, so we want our last velocity. I'm going to set that to our current velocity. So if we can move, we do that. Otherwise, what we want to do is we don't want to allow the player to continue. So we can't land. We've applied our wall friction. How exactly do we want to do this? We want like a kind of a travel distance in the y direction. And if we are able to travel in our y direction, we don't want to allow ourselves to accelerate. So if you're jumping against a ceiling that's kind of sloped with your head, you would still be able to move quickly. What would the other thing be? Would be don't allow ourselves to accelerate in a direction? If new velocity dot z, all right, the y is going to be take our velocity, try to go towards 0, and set it based on the wall friction. So it's going to tend towards no motion. All right, so what we want to also do is say that you can't accelerate in that direction. You can't go faster. So if fmath of absolute value of in last velocity dot y is less than the absolute value of new velocity dot y, then the last velocity dot y is going to be equal. No, the new velocity y is going to be last velocity y. So you can't accelerate into the wall with your wall friction. It just won't let you do it. Very good. Jenkins is back up. Back online. Thank you, Windows Update, for being what you are. I mean, that facetiously. Yeah, I don't like changing the movement code that much, mainly because it can have unintended horrifying side effects. But I'm not gonna need to get back into it with the ability system and some of that, especially when we're doing more single player stuff. We will need to allow for more types of motion. Alright, so if I hold onto the wall, I no longer eat shit eventually. And it changes how the wall jumping mechanics work. So it's actually important for me to see if we can still make some of these jumps that are very difficult, because you might not understand why you're building momentum in a certain direction. Yeah, it definitely makes it more difficult to do a wall jump, because you don't have that extra momentum built up. To do a wall jump, it changes it so you need to have some actual room available to do the wall jump. You have to actually collide with the wall, because you can't build up speed on the wall, which when you hold the opposite direction, you're still actually going towards the wall. So to do proper wall jumps, it changes how they work. You actually have to You've actually got to jump away from the wall to continue to wall jump, because you need to build up a bit more force that's been saved up. Fuck, it's a lot harder. It's harder not to eat it into the wall, but it's harder to do a wall jump. It's still possible, though. Let's see if I can do it on a controller. I'm a lot better at wall jumping on keyboard because of the instantaneous movement. This actually makes it easier for me on the controller. Alright, so what we need to do actually is we need a charge amount on here. So it needs to be if the absolute value of the velocity is greater than a charge velocity. So we'll allow you a bit of charged physics movement when you're holding into the wall.